We are.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 26th Annual Transportation Engineering and Safety Conference. We're very pleased that you're taking the time out of your busy schedules here near the holiday season to join us virtually for this year's conference. My name is Eric Donnell, and I am the director of the Larson Transportation Institute here at Penn State and the general co-chair, along with my colleague Vikash Gaya, of this year's conference. This is always one of my favorite events of the year. It's for the first 25 years, it was an opportunity for all of us to gather in person, to do some networking, share a lot of very good technical information about projects that we work on, develop best practices, and have that great social opportunity. We apologize that we're not able to gather together in person this year, but we are excited that we are still able to hold the conference virtually. And we think we've put together a really great program with the help of so many professionals here in the Commonwealth that I'd like to take a few moments to thank before we turn it over to our distinguished guests. And then we're very hopeful that next year we'll have an opportunity to gather in person again for our 27th annual event. Just a very quick overview of the program. And if you have questions about sessions and timing of sessions and speakers in sessions, I would encourage you to visit the program at the website shown at the bottom of this slide, tesc.psu.edu. We just concluded 3 pre-conference workshops where we do a little bit of an in-depth topical discussion about various transportation related either activities, software packages, and so on. We had great attendance and like to thank our speakers for taking the time to present those pre-conference workshops this morning. Starting here at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, we will begin to deliver the actual concurrent sessions. They're organized in 6 tracks focused on transportation safety, operations, planning, design, technology, as well as leadership. So we're really excited about those 6 concurrent tracks. And again, if you could just take a look at the website, tesc.psu.edu, if you're interested in a particular topic or speaker, details concerning each of those sessions can be found on the website. I'd also like to note that in between the sessions, over the course of the next 3 days, there's an opportunity to visit with some of our exhibitors. So I'd encourage you to do that. Day 2 is organized in a similar manner along the 6 concurrent tracks. And here's where you will see our platinum sponsors having their sessions and delivering their sessions. So we're really excited about some of the presentations that you'll hear tomorrow. And then Friday we'll start at 11:30, conclude at 2 o'clock with virtual exhibits in between the 2 sets of concurrent sessions. I'd like to just take a moment and thank the following groups for all of their hard work, dedication, and support this year in helping us formulate the program and delivering this year's conference virtually. The steering committee was led by Nick Carva from HNTB. He's serving as our technical program chair. Really like to thank Nick for all of his hard work and getting the steering committee together. We started meeting in April. We had at least monthly meetings with a large group of 55 members representing federal, state, local transportation agencies, as well as private sector companies and members of the research and education community. I thought Nick did a great job leading this group and assembling what I think is a really, really great looking program. And we're really excited to deliver the program to approximately 650 participants this year. I'd like to acknowledge our team here at Penn State for their hard work. Steve Williams, who many of you have met, serves as our overall coordinator here at the university, does a great job assembling the program, working with all the speakers and moderators, and putting together this virtual conference. He spent a lot of time and energy researching the platforms to deliver this conference, and we're excited about working with all of you to present a lot of very interesting and fascinating transportation topics this year. Donica Laub led all of our marketing and communication efforts, and thanks to her for her hard work and dedication this year. And then the conferences and institutes team here at Penn State. Again, virtual meeting, first time we've delivered TESC in this kind of a format. Corinna Fisher, Carolyn Kleben Fry, and Melissa Small, thank you very much for all of your hard work and dedication to make this event happen this year. I mentioned earlier our platinum sponsors. We have 6 of them: AECOM, Michael Baker International, HNTB, Pannoni, Jacobs, and WSP. Again, they plan a session that you'll see throughout the program. And we thank them for their sponsorship of this year's event. And we thank them for putting together what will surely be some excellent sessions. Our gold sponsors, Gannett Fleming, Urban Engineers, Traffic Planning and Design, and WBCM. Thank you for your commitment to this year's event. And then to our silver sponsors, Benish, KCI Technologies, Bergman Engineering, McCormick Taylor, Carroll Engineering Corporation, and SAI Consulting Engineers. Thank you very much to your commitment and support of the event as well. We have a handful of exhibitors this year. Again, there are opportunities between the concurrent session tracks to visit virtually with our exhibitors: HDR, MyoVision, Texco LLC, Davidson Traffic Control Products, Signal Control Products, Traffic Control Products, as well as Versilis Systems. I would encourage you to take the time and visit those exhibitors virtually throughout the course of the next 3 days. Last, but probably most importantly, if you have any questions or technical difficulties with the platform or accessing the sessions, I would encourage you to send an email to this address, tesc@psu.edu. We will have somebody monitoring that throughout the course of the conference, and we should be able to reply very quickly to help solve any platform, virtual session, or other IT difficulties that you might have throughout the course of the next 3 days. And finally, I'd like to conclude with a thanks to all of you who are participating virtually. Again, we have about 650 registered participants this year. We're really excited about this year's program, and we're very, very grateful for the time and energy that you're devoting over the next 3 days to join us for the 26th Annual Transportation Engineering and Safety Conference. I really hope you enjoy the conference. And now I'd like to introduce the first of our distinguished guests, who's the Dean of the College of Engineering here at Penn State, Dean Justin Schwartz, who will offer some welcoming remarks and then introduce Secretary Gramian. So Dean Schwartz, welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Eric. I am truly pleased to be part of this opening session of the 27th Annual Transportation Engineering and Safety Conference. Over the next few days, hundreds of you transportation professionals from across the Mid-Atlantic region, from federal, state, local agencies, private industry, and of course, academia, will tune in and share and learn with and from one another. Topics ranging from autonomous vehicles, traffic safety, incident management, to project delivery during a pandemic, and educating the next generation of professionals will provide you the opportunity to engage in more than 50 technical sessions and workshops this year to continue to move this important field forward. Such a meeting, even virtually, or perhaps especially now since we are virtual, is critically important, not only for current experts, but for our future experts. In every field, we can become bogged down in what we're accustomed to doing and pass that along to our students. Meetings like this help ensure the continued professional development needed to spark the curiosity that drives innovation alive. At Penn State, we are, for example, proud to be part of 2 statewide projects that are aiming to advance the transportation field with this particular focus on safety. The first is a partnership with PennDOT and the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission to launch the Pennsylvania Safety, Transportation, and Research Track, which we call PennSTART. This state-of-the-art training and testing facility will help address the transportation safety and operational needs of Pennsylvania and the Mid-Atlantic region with foci in 6 key areas: traffic incident management, tolling and intelligent transportation systems technology, work zones, commercial vehicles, transit vehicles, and connected and automated vehicles. The second project is a collaboration with PennDOT and other stakeholders in Pennsylvania on the Automated Driving System Demonstration Grant from the United States Department of Transportation. Several of our College of Engineering faculty at Penn State will assist in developing, testing, and safely deploying automated technologies in work zones. I am truly excited about both of these initiatives, the impact they will have on safety, and the opportunities they will foster for research, education, and training within the transportation community in the Commonwealth and beyond. Now, I could continue to brag on all we're doing here at Penn State in the field of transportation, but let me instead focus on my primary duty this afternoon. It is my great honor to introduce Secretary Yassmin Gramian, the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Serving in this important role since May this year, the Secretary manages PennDOT's $9.5 billion annual budget and oversees programs and policies affecting highways, urban and rural public transportation, airports, railroads, ports, and waterways. Under her leadership, the department is directly responsible for Pennsylvania's vast system of state and local highways and bridges, and oversees the state's vehicle registration, driver's licenses, and ID operations. Secretary Gramian served as acting secretary for 5 months before being confirmed during the COVID-19 pandemic. She oversaw the swift transition to remote operations for essential functions while ensuring the safety and possibility of roads during weather events. Prior to joining PennDOT, the secretary worked for more than 30 years in operations, design, and management of transportation infrastructure systems. She earned her bachelor's and master's degree in civil engineering from the University of Michigan, and I'll resist the temptation to comment on that, and completed the Tuck Management Training Program at Dartmouth College. She is a professional engineer in Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and Florida. And we are truly honored to have her here with us today. So welcome, Secretary Gramian.
Thank you so much, Dean Schwartz. Thank you, Eric, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so honored to be kicking off this conference and to be speaking with so many professionals in our industry. At PennDOT, our commitment to making lives better and safer goes well beyond our core mission of caring for the vast network of roads, highways, and bridges. We take pride in our efforts to improve Pennsylvanians' lives, and safety is in the central focus of every aspect of PennDOT's work. There is a heavy emphasis on safety within the department and with our partners at all levels to maintain, design, construct, operate, and oversee our system. It also includes first responders, most of whom are volunteers who come out in all weather and all hours. Safety has always been a foundational value at PennDOT, and the safety of our network is our top priority. But during these 9 challenging months, we have actually had to widen our perspective, if that's possible, as to what transportation safety means and how we can enhance it. It is across our networks and through our facilities, road, rail, air, and maritime, that the essential goods like food, medicine, and equipment have been delivered. And it's not just to the retail outlet, but right up to the doorstep, enabling people to stay safe and protected with their homes as the pandemic has raged. And it is aboard our transit systems, especially in urban centers where they are often folks' only travel option, that our heroic medical professionals and caregivers have been able to get to and from the frontliners at their work sites, thus saving countless thousands of lives. And just as valiant and essential are the people operating these transportation links, the drivers and operators and their support teams, and not to overlook the PennDOT maintenance crews and construction contractors, so critical to keeping the infrastructure whole and functioning. The pandemic has emphasized, like few things ever have, how indispensable transportation is to the operations of society. It is indeed civilization's vascular system, delivering the lifeblood on which all else depends. So it's been with immense pride that I have worked with all of you to bring about this great pandemic success story, even while the pandemic has rewarded us and our business with the most serious pressure on our own financial sustainability that we have ever experienced. And I will be further discussing this topic with you today. Permit now to get more specific about our efforts at PennDOT to promote and advance transportation safety. To help support our first responders, PennDOT is part of Penn Time, an interagency agreement with the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission, Pennsylvania Department of Health, PEMA, and the Pennsylvania State Police. Through the Penn Time initiative, a multitude of organizations, jurisdictions, and governments all involved in traffic incident management in Pennsylvania can more easily collaborate. Penn Time helps put consistent, common sense policies and procedures in place that allows everyone who is responding to emergencies to stay safe in those critical moments. Training is also a key component of Penn Time. And over the last several years, thousands of first responders have been trained on many aspects of traffic incident management. Through our partnership with the Turnpike and Penn State, we are helping to advance the Pennsylvania Safety, Transportation, and Research Track, or PennSTART, in State College. This new research and training facility, scheduled to break ground in 2023, will, among many other things, provide realistic conditions for emergency responders to train on rather than conceptual tabletop exercises. As far as public safety on our roadways is concerned, 2019 was the lowest year ever in Pennsylvania for fatal crashes at 1,059. This is the lowest number since 1928. However, one life lost is too many, and we're dedicated to our ultimate goal of 0 deaths on our roadways. And as you're probably aware, we saw dramatic decreases in our traffic volumes as a result of COVID-19. While truck traffic is back to pre-pandemic levels, passenger vehicle volumes continue to hover around 85% of where they were pre-pandemic. You may think that decreased traffic volumes mean that safety is improving, but that's not necessarily the case. Serious injury, crashes, and fatalities are still occurring. And as you know, while infrastructure-based safety countermeasures are an important part of our highway safety strategy, they can take time to implement. This is why we take a multifaceted approach to highway safety, focusing on both infrastructure improvements and changing driver behavior through education and enforcement. For example, I'm very proud that along with the Turnpike and Penn State and State Police, we launched a 5-year automated work zone speed enforcement pilot. Portable units deployed in active work zones use a combination of cameras and radar to detect vehicles going 11 miles per hour or more over the posted speed limit and issue citations. The goal of this program is not to issue violations, it is to change behavior and save lives. And our analysis so far is showing that the program is starting to have the desired effect of reducing speeding through these zones. Our Be Safe PA media campaign launched last year. I'm proud to share that the Be Safe PA campaign was awarded an AASHTO Transcom Award for printing and electronic marketing. This multifaceted campaign focused on impaired driving, distracted driving, and seatbelt use, and used short, catchy videos to share information about these important topics on radio, social media, and many websites. We even advertised on jukeboxes in bars so that the impaired driving message could reach people before they made the decision to drive impaired. And of course, safety for our workforce during COVID-19 has continued to be of utmost importance. COVID-19 has had such an enormous impact on all our lives. And I think we will be feeling those effects for years to come. As for the immediate impacts that the pandemic has had on PennDOT, they were significant. We closed our district, county and central offices, our driver's license centers, and we paused all our construction contracts until we could assess what we were facing with COVID-19. Thanks to collaborations with the Pennsylvania Turnpike, the Federal Highway Administration, and the construction and consulting industries, we developed COVID-19 safety plans so that we could quickly restart these contracts. We instituted safety protocols for our 7,000 person maintenance forces across the 11 districts to conduct critical maintenance activities. The situation forced all of us to take a hard look at our operations and figure out how we can continue to operate under these unprecedented circumstances. I could not be prouder of the many ways that our staff handled these changes and the innovations that came about as a result. For example, we changed processes for digital signatures and seals on plans that allowed our consultants design contracts to continue. We're exploring 3D intelligent models for design, construction, and asset management, and we're exploring augmented reality for design field activities, bridge inspections, and for construction site meetings. Our vision is that by 2025, construction projects will be bid using 3D technology and no longer be in a traditional construction plan format. We have already made great advancements in public involvement, and our digital delivery directive will further enhance these efforts. Instead of trying to teach the general public how to interpret a plan set, we will instead hand them virtual reality goggles and let them test drive the project themselves. Augmented reality will also be piloted this year for use in design activities, bridge inspection, and construction projects. This technology will allow us to visualize model elements, construction sequencing or elements, dimensions, etc., in the real world setting. We're also exploring the use of drones for construction inspection, bridge inspection, survey, incident management, and traffic and project sequencing. On our construction sites, we are eliminating the need for paper tickets and increasing efficiencies through e-ticketing for contractor payments. And we've continued to make progress in the automated vehicle realm. We updated our automated vehicle testing guidance in September. One important update to this guidance that is significant in light of COVID-19 is that we established protocols to transition from 2 safety operators in a vehicle to 1. This change will help with the social distancing while testing this technology. One aspect of vehicle automation I would call to your attention is in the area of freight application. Working with our sibling states, Michigan and Ohio, and our collective academic research and development prowess, we have been making remarkable strides in automated freight testing through our Smart Belt Coalition, especially in connection with interstate freight movement. Just six weeks ago, our Smart Belt Coalition sponsored a convoy of 2 platooning trucks operated by Pittsburgh-based technology startup Locomation, setting out from Pittsburgh to make food donation deliveries to food banks in Toledo and Detroit. I'm spotlighting this development because advancements in automated freight can help create conditions to keep drivers and other essential workers along the supply chain safer during crises like this pandemic, and can relieve the pressure of growing driver shortage, to which, unlike COVID-19, no end is in sight. In addition to the operational challenges we face, COVID-19 has also impacted our funding, especially for highways and bridges. There is currently an annual unmet funding need of $8.1 billion for our entire highway and bridge system. There is a $1.9 billion annual unmet need just to keep the interstates and national highway system in a state of good repair. And there is an additional unmet annual need of between 2.1 and 3.2 billion for even modest modernizations and upgrades to the interstate and national highway system. We have significant needs on our system, particularly interstates and non-interstate expressways. As you're probably aware, PennDOT has recently been forced to direct more funding towards our aging interstates at the expense of funding in our local planning regions, resulting in deferred infrastructure projects on regional state highways. PennDOT receives 74% of its highway and bridge funding from state and federal gas taxes. And due to major traffic reductions in the early days of the pandemic, we lost a significant amount of revenue. Revenue to the Motor License Fund are down about 500 to 600 million from the impact of reduced travel during the pandemic. Although traffic volumes are coming back, that revenue is lost for good. In order to keep our active construction program going, we requested legislative authority to bond as part of the normal budget process. The language on bonding authority was removed from the fiscal code bill that was enacted, and we came incredibly close to shutting down active construction projects for the remainder of the fiscal year. Thankfully, the governor agreed to a request by legislative leaders to find a short-term solution, operating in good faith that they will resolve the issue at the beginning of the next legislative session. As a stopgap measure, the governor has directed PennDOT to anticipate pending and expected reimbursements to cover current construction and design expenses in the short term. This is not a long-term solution, as those reimbursements ultimately require matching state revenues to sustain. While the temporary fix affords us the opportunity to make payments on existing work, new projects are on hold until a definitive solution is available. We will evaluate emergency needs to see that we can advance and continue to make payments. But even without the impacts of COVID-19, we knew that Motor License Fund revenue is flat at the best and projected to decline. Gas taxes have become a less predictable source of revenue for transportation agencies across the country. As passenger vehicles become more fuel efficient and all electronic vehicle technology continues to evolve, we are seeing reduced revenues. The Motor License Fund supports not only the 40,000 miles of roads and over 25,000 bridges under PennDOT's purview, also nearly 80,000 miles of locally owned roads and 6,500 locally owned bridges. We can no longer rely on the gas tax to meet our highway and bridge needs. And on top of that, the federal government hasn't taken meaningful action to support transportation in years. Our challenge now is transitioning from reliance on the gas tax, raising enough revenue to keep up with the inflation, and addressing our aging infrastructure. As our needs continue to grow and significant risks to existing revenues are identified, we as an agency are forced to look to alternative means of funding that are emerging across the nation. To that end, we recently launched a new initiative called PennDOT Pathways, through which we will analyze new future-focused sources of funding for our highways and bridges that could better serve our communities. As a part of this program, we are embarking on a planning and environmental leakages, or PEL study. In this PEL study, we are looking at potential funding solutions and identifying which ones could be used in the near and long term to help build stable and dedicated transportation funding for Pennsylvania. We'll be looking at the feasibility of congestion pricing, managed lane concepts, spot tollings, road users fee, and many more. Once we identify the potential funding strategies that best fit our system, we will develop a plan of putting them into action and start to fill in the funding gap for our highways and bridges. Please stay tuned for more updates on the Pathways program in the coming months. Last month, we got approval from the state's P3 board to initiate the major Bridge P3 initiative, a design, build, finance, operate, and maintain project delivery program for the replacement and rehabilitation of major interstate and expressway bridges throughout the state. Through this program, we will consider users' fee as permitted under federal and state law. The type of P3 and duration of the agreement will be tailored to each individual bridge or bundle. And if implemented, users' fee would be applied in a manner that focuses on cost recovery while minimizing traffic diversion to nearby roadways. The program will be developed in a manner that is geographically balanced statewide and mitigates disproportionate socioeconomic impacts. So what are the benefits? This program would provide additional revenues to address major bridge deficiencies that might otherwise not be feasible with existing funding. And importantly, it will remove the funding need for these bridges from our normal distribution of funds, freeing up dollars for the remainder of the network so that other important transportation projects can proceed. Over the next year, we plan to advertise for requests for proposals for firms to advance individual bridges or bundles of bridges, select preferred proposers, and initiate design and construction. This new stream of revenue will also benefit the contracting community by providing additional regional projects that will benefit local contractors, material vendors, and engineers. So, as you can see, we have a lot ahead of us, and we can't do it alone. I'm truly grateful to our partners in the transportation industry, especially as we navigate through these challenging times. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to join you today, and I hope you have a great conference.
Great, thank you so much, Secretary Gramian, for those thoughtful remarks and sharing so many of the wonderful activities that are happening here in the Commonwealth, as well as some of the innovative initiatives that you've implemented to improve transportation here in Pennsylvania, and for your leadership associated with the transportation network here in the Commonwealth. Dean Schwartz, thanks as well for joining us here this afternoon. We appreciate the time, your commitment to supporting all that we do here at Penn State related to transportation. And once again, I would like to welcome all 650 or so participants to this year's Transportation Engineering and Safety Conference. I would encourage you, if you have any technical difficulties associated with the platform or other things related to the conference, to email tesk@psu.edu. And I'd like to once again extend my sincere appreciation to all of you for participating in this year's virtual event. So with that concludes our opening welcome keynote session. Thanks again to our speakers. Look forward to interacting with you over the next 3 days at this year's conference. Thank you very much. Enjoy the program.